What's up, fam? What's up, fam? I want to welcome you to a place that you've never been before, and that is my studio. This is the storage room. Why it's called that? It's a literal storage room. But that's not what I came here to talk to you about. I came here to talk to you about big band arrangements. And today we'll be talking about Sabrina Carpenter's song Espresso. So let's get right into it. I wanted to show you, this is what my session looks like. So right off the bat with this particular tune, I just wanted to first establish where I wanted to go with it. One of the inspirations was this song by Sonny Rollins, who's a famous jazz saxophonist. He has a song called St. Thomas. And yeah, I just remember that drum groove at the beginning. I was like, you know what? That would be cool for the initial thing of it. So I took, just those drums, and this is what they sound like. Then I found another audio clip because I'm just trying to build the foundation for this all before I start trying to program and do all this stuff. I really want to incorporate some human elements. So I added this one. I kind of went overkill and added a third one. So that was my foundation with and this is what I was just hearing in my head. It's like, hey, I hear that groove against, the vocal and all that kind of stuff. So together, that actually sounds like this.
I can't relate to desperation. Might give a fuck. Are on vacation, and I got this one boy, and he won't stop.
So that's what I was just hearing in my head. I was like, okay, I'm slowly bringing it out from inside of my head to out to the real world. And knowing that I'm creating these arrangements for my big band, I have to actually create some actual parts. I can't just have the samples and then them sitting around and not do anything to play because it's simple. So I recreated the foundation that I got from these several tracks and put it in a percussion. So it sounds like this. The vocals.
And I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling. When they act this way, I know I got him.
Still, all this is in the creation part of just starting off and creating this arrangement, which for me is the hardest part. It's always hard to get started, but once it gets going, it gets going. But I'm still in that, when I was recreating this, still in that infancy stage of just, okay, building that foundation. And another part for me, or another instrument for me, that is a part of building the foundation for this particular tune was the bass. And so I knew that once we have the groove for the bass and the drums, then we're going to be off to the races. So it took me forever to come up with a bass part for this, and so I settled upon this. This is what I got for the bass part.
I can't relate to desperation. Might give a fuck. Are on vacation, and I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling. When they act this way, I know I got.
There's a term that I use. It's called scene changes. The application to what we're doing now is just kind of, I feel like I've coined it or something. Maybe not. Somebody may have said it before me, and we just don't know. But I'm just gonna say I did first. But I call it scene changes. So if you look here, we have a verse, which is this first block. The second block we have a pre-chorus, and then this block we have a chorus. And so I like to create these scene changes. And so that way it's just not just, okay, the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus are exactly the same thing. There should be some kind of variety, It doesn't have to be a big, something vastly different, but just something that I just feel like, okay, just to keep the song moving. This is just from the pre-chorus. or I just let you listen to the verse. So this is the verse. Just like the verse is just that. And pre-chorus. Just so it moves a little bit, and then we get to the chorus of it. Here's the chorus. And I did that same application with the drums as well. So it's just like you have the verse drums, you know, our normal really groove. Then the pre-chorus drums, kind of just the same because, you know, we did a lot with the percussions. But then when it comes to that chorus, you change this one more time. It's kind of like that more drive, you know, and these are all like, I do all these things to create scene changes. And I also did the same thing with the bass. So like, you know, you have the bass line, this for the verse. Once you get to that pre-chorus, and then finally the chorus part of it. So that way, just even within this first portion of the song, we still have like these scene changes that cause us to like, okay, stay engaged. And so like this is what it sounds like all together with just the rhythm section and the vocals.
No, that's that me espresso. I can't relate to desperation. Might give a fuck. Are on vacation, and I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling when they act this way. I know I got him. Too bad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in, a dream came true for you. Soft skin and that perfume for you.
See, it builds a little bit, the momentum's going. Even more, so like even more of a drive. Doesn't make sure it's louder, but it's just like the momentum is keep going. And I feel like that's super important when you're making arrangements. It's just to create these scene changes to keep people engaged. Is sometimes like if you just write something that's just the same the whole way through, people start to get bored, or at least I do. I was like, okay, well, you know, what's gonna spark my interest as we're going? So as you know, this is for my big band, and when people think of jazz big band, they think of horns. So let's talk about the horns actually with this portion, this first part of the song. When I was coming up with the horns, I was inspired by a clip that I saw of a marching band. It was just the trombones were just playing, and in the particular marching band, it was at HBCU. For those who don't know what that means, that's historically black college or university. And so the way these musicians were playing, it was just so soulful. So it felt, I wanted to recreate that for this particular arrangement. And obviously, I only have 4 trombones for the big band, but I just wanted to create something that had that same vibe and feel as what I heard on that clip, and this is what I came up with. This is for the intro of the song.
Now he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is it that sweet? I hear so. So you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's that me espresso. Move it up, down, left, right, oh. Switch it up, lightning to go. So you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's that me espresso. I can't relate.
And just like that, now we're in the verse. So it's like I could just imagine like those trombone players playing with the vocals on a live show, and I feel like that'll be very entertaining. And you can see in the first verse, I don't have any horns. Then you have like on the first pre-chorus, you have just trumpets and trombones. Then I bring in the saxophones with them, so it's all together by the end of the chorus. So I'm gonna make sure to play that all together so you can see how we're progressing. I'm gonna start a little bit at the end of the first verse so you can hear it.
I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling when they act this way. I know I got him. Too bad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in, a dream came true for you.
right between the second verse and the first chorus, I put this little, I mean, there's a little space that she does a little vocal thing, but I wanted to add what we call like a drop me off section right here. So that's just basically means it's just a little ear candy for just the listener. And so I just took the saxophones and they had like made this kind of riff that you hear right here. And so what I've just learned that a lot of times when you just kind of sing those lines rather than writing vertical, you know, where it's just like writing chord, even though they are kind of playing chords and they play together, instead of just like, okay, we're right, here's the note I'm going for, here's the note, there's like that. I'm writing the top layer, then I'm gonna say, let me sing this line, see what it sounds like against that. Oh, let me change this line, let me sing it, you know, just creating different melody lines rather than just different chords. Hopefully it makes sense, but this is what it sounds like together again. And to really make it, really make a statement of just saying, hey, we're back into the second verse, I added the brass just on the last note. I could have added them on the couple of last notes that we have. You hear on the saxophones, when they do that, dee-da-dee-da, dee-da-da-da. I could have had the brass play all those notes with them, but I felt it was more effective just to put it on the last note, just to give it that last little period, that last little punch. So it sounds like this. And now we're back into the second verse. If you remember, like in the first verse, it had like this kind of drum beat, which I did in the second verse as well. This is the same thing, but instead of going to the pre-chorus groove, I wanted to get just a little step higher because we didn't go all the way down. We just went down a little bit in momentum, or what can we call that? We'll just keep calling it momentum. I chose to take what was played in the chorus of the first chorus and put that on the second pre-chorus. So during that driving, and I chose to put that in the pre-chorus just to create where it's not like, okay, we're starting all the same copy and paste thing. So here's one thing also I changed was I put the snare on now. Originally it was off. So then you may be wondering, well, then what are you going to do after that? You're just going to just keep piling on, just getting more complex stuff. This is where I use the layering technique where I was like, okay, well, let me just layer some parts. Because remember, the bass is going to be doing a different part for this, the chorus versus the pre-chorus, and as well as versus the verse. So it's like you don't have to do it, but I just want to create just a little bit more of just this stepping up. And so you can hear that right now. I'm just going to play just the rhythm section with the bass. And you'll hear this is starting in the pre-chorus. Here's the chorus. You hear all the extra elements coming in. So just using that technique, you know, it will cause your arrangements to have just this life about it, because it's not just stale, it's not just static, it's actually growing, you know, and it's not just growing from just more and more stuff, like more and more like complex parts, but just little layering between here and here throughout your arrangement. So this is what it sounds like together. I'll play from the drop me off part, and we'll go from there. Here it is. Verse 2. Adding that saxophone. Now bringing everybody the horns to make it bigger. Still driving. You get that drive. But it's not totally different from before. It's just little things that made it bigger than what it was before, but just the same feeling and vibe. And the chorus just rock it out. I wanted to take the listener on a journey. And so once again, you know, I reset it, you know, and I deconstructed everybody, and we just kind of almost reset to ground zero. And I'll let you hear, this is without the vocals, that way you can really hear all that's going on. And actually, I'll do the horns first. So you have the horns. This is right at that bridge part. Here's a little bit before on the chorus. Just watch how everything kind of goes away when we slowly brew. Like it all goes away, and then we're gonna slowly build it back up, just brewing it up. The saxophone. Not a lot, so you still don't have the trumpets. And then even this, we're still trying to build it up. So I have trumpets, which are typically like bigger and louder than saxophones. So it's like you have this is going up more and more. Like you can feel the anticipation, or there's this drive inside of you. All right, before we get too far into it, he was feeling. It's hard for me not just to listen to it. But there's a technique that I just, through listening back right now, that I explained, that something I use, and they use it a lot in symphonic work and classical music, is that they will take a melody and they'll have one particular section of the orchestra play it, and then they'll pass that melody around, where it's like violins may play it, then the woodwinds may play it, then the cellos may play it, and, you know, they just kind of pass it around. And I use that same technique, but not exactly like that, where it's just not, we're not passing around the same melody, but we're just more conversation. So just like if you're in a regular conversation, you're talking and then somebody else talks, and you kind of go back and forth. And I do that, and you can visually see that when you see the saxophones and then the trumpets right here, and they kind of answer these saxophones. The trombones I'm just using as instigators. They're like, oh, yeah, that sounds right. So the saxophones play, then the trumpets will play, and the trombones are egging them on, and then the saxophones come back and say what they got to say, and then we kind of come together, all the sections, all the horns come together to make this big kind of shout chorus. And there's something special that happens right here that I'll talk about a little bit later. Actually, let's talk about it now. It's like one of my favorite parts. It feels like a fake ending to me. I mean, or it feels like an ending, but it's not an ending. The song keeps going. I'll let you listen. Oh, let me go. Let me give you a little bit more room than that. We're surfing. We're like, ooh, what's going on? It's almost like we could have ended this. It's like we could have ended the song on that fall, and just ended the song. But then they come up with this great chromatic line just to say, no, we're gonna keep going. And I just love that. And you may be asking yourself, well, that doesn't really feel like an an ending to me. Well, let me pull back in the rhythm section, because I feel like they emphasize it too. Listen again. It just feels really good. That feels really, really, really good. So backing up just a little bit, and how I was talking about, we use the rhythm section got reset or deconstructed, and then listen how they build back up and create, like, you know, it's just this, I don't know how to explain. It's like, I don't know how to make gumbo, but I'm assuming it's like this, you know, just kind of brewing up some stuff and throwing things in. It's just, let me just play it. You want to hear the music. Building back up. Woo. Woo. then all the different layering causes that to drive. And this is just the rhythm section. You can feel it, the momentum. So I know we've been talking a lot about with these scene changes and adding and layering things. Sometimes that you can, well, I was trying to figure out like, how can I take this up? How can I take this up to the next level if we did this total reset and not just take it up to just another chorus or just a regular vamp? And the way I took it up was by literally taking it up. So we there's a modulation that happens here. We've been in D minor, I want to say, this whole time, and now we just took it up to F minor, so a minor third up. So I'll let you hear that again. Listen to this. So we're in D. We're in D minor right now. Modulation. David, it causes it to feel like a new song now. And then just to cause another scene change, I just went back down to home. So I went back down, back to the D minor. So it gave this kind of a sense of resolve. It was like, okay, we're back somewhere. And here's that fake ending. Woo! A big reason why I added that in, because I just want people to dance. I want people to, so it's like, man, give them some more time to dance. We've been listening to the horns and all this other stuff going on. Just give them some more party music. And so like in my mind, I'm just like, okay, let's keep them dancing. They thought the song was over. We're going to keep going dancing. One of the last things I want to show you with this is the ending. I'm just going to play it and I'm going to say my commentary. Can we listen to that one more time? I just want to. For all my N64 Mario Kart fans out there, doesn't that remind you of like Mario Kart? Like just something Rainbow Road or something like that? Here it is again for all the true Mario Kart fans out there. I think I played so much N64 back in the day that it just came out on me on that part. But anyway, I can spend days on, well, maybe not days, but I can spend a lot of time on just talking about this arrangement, all that's in it. But I want to know from you guys what's in here that that I didn't answer. What question that you have that I didn't answer? Just put it in the comment, and I'll answer that question to my best ability. That way, you get the information that you're in search for. And what I'll probably do is like one of these days, I'll just do a live with you guys. And that way, if you have a question in real time, I'll just go to it. It's like, hey, I want to hear the drum part. I'm like, all right. So you guys will steer kind of the live in that situation. But yeah, this once again, this was Flip That Hit. It's off my Flip That Hit mixtape. This was Espresso, the Sabrina Carpenter tune, and we just made it into a jazz big band hit. Hope you love this, and just remember this: be more than blessed, be a blessing.